Hello, Beauty News family. Welcome to some backup content.
Yes.
Pre-film content for when we are off. Kat's baby is here. We are very excited.
Hopefully it's there.
Yeah.
If not, we're in trouble.
Oh, spaghetti.
Because right now it's here.
It's here,
It's here.
but soon it will be here. Thank you to this week's sponsors. With a lot of people still working from home, it's worth noting that you don't have to wear PJs or tracksuit pants to be comfortable. With Beta Brand's dress pant yoga pants, you can look professional and stylish without compromising on comfort. Beta Brand have used customer experience to create workwear that is functional yet comfortable. Dress pant yoga pants are made of wrinkle-resistant material that fit well and have enough stretch that they won't dig into your skin, but also offer some support so you not only feel good, but look good too. There are tons of different colours and styles to choose from, like boot cut, straight leg, skinny cropped, 8-pocket, and more. I'm currently digging the skinny leg travel dress pant yoga pants. They have these pockets that create a bit of a funky geometric pattern, and I reckon they look pretty cool. And don't forget, they also launch new styles every week, so there's something to suit all personal styles. Right now, our listeners can get 25% off their first order when you go to betabrand.com/beauty. That's 25% off your first order for a limited time at betabrand.com/beauty. Find out why women are buying 5 different pairs of these pants. Go to betabrand.com/beauty for 25% off. Aurate is fine jewelry made in New York City, founded by women for women. Pieces range from classic to statement to completely original. Aurate's gold feels substantial, and because it's all real gold, you can wear it and never have to take it off. You don't have to worry about taking it off to shower, to do the dishes, or any of your other day-to-day chores because it's jewelry for life. Aurate is ethically made in New York City and aims to provide quality pieces at a more affordable price than other high-end jewelry stores. They cut out the middleman to lower the price without compromising on quality. All Aurate pieces come with a lifetime warranty because they know it lasts. And for every piece sold, a child in need receives a book to further their education. We've had our Aurate pieces for weeks now, and once we put our earrings on, they never came back out of our ears. They've worn beautifully with no discoloration or irritation. I have the mini gold bar earrings in 14 karat white gold, while Kat has the midi gold bar earrings in 14 karat yellow gold. Our Aurate earrings wear just as well as the pieces that have been purchased from standard jewelry retailers. The only difference is Aurate's pieces are kinda on your bank account. For 15% off your first Aurate purchase, go to auratenewyork.com/beauty and use promo code BEAUTY. That's AURATE newyork.com/beauty and use promo code BEAUTY at checkout for 15% off your first purchase. So we just filmed like 20 minutes of this
chat.
video and weren't recording the audio. Are you on?
We should get used to this by now because
I know.
like in the last couple of weeks,
There
always been something
needs to
going
be like an alarm of some description that's like, you're not recording.
on. Anyway, so we're doing a chatty video today. We're talking about sort of our purchasing habits, our experience with makeup, because we did do a Q&A a week or two ago now. We filmed it just before this, so I don't know when it went up.
We don't know when anything's going up. It goes up when it goes up.
I think it was up before this.
Yeah.
But we did have a few questions that we didn't answer in there because they were asking about like our makeup collections and our spending habits and why do we project pan, any tips, decluttering. And we just thought it'd be a good time to talk about our sort of makeup journeys because our spending habits have completely changed over time.
Yeah.
The way we sort of view consumerism and whatnot has changed over time. And we thought it was an interesting topic because everyone has their own journey. And we just thought we'd share our journey.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing today.
It is. So, where did we start? How old were you when you had your first proper makeup item?
Look, I would say that because I was unfortunately a teenager with a lot of acne, I got onto sort of face products fairly quickly. It started with like blotting sheets, powder. I got onto Maybelline Dream Matte Mousse. Classy.
Good shit.
And so I had to do it for function. I found that I wanted to minimize issues. Mind you, Dream Matte Mousse clings to breakouts like there's no tomorrow. Doesn't hide it.
Not
but,
good stuff.
At least I could leave the house with my head held a little bit higher than my chin on the fucking ground.
Yeah.
So I sort of got into makeup that way. But earlier, rewinding, like I was really interested in like my mum's makeup. My mum used to, put on red lip and do her makeup, and I used to be like fascinated. And I remember the times where like I bought my first like metallic blue nail polish when I was probably like 9 or something, and I thought I was like the coolest shit.
Yeah.
She's yawning because we've already spoken about this.
Also, we did just film for like an hour and a half before this, so
that's true.
Coming up to 2 hours of non-stop talking. That's true. Actually get quite tiring.
That's true. So yeah, so pretty much I knew I was going to be one of those kids that, like, looking back, I knew I was sort of going to be fascinated by it, but I got into it more out of function.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So about 13, I would say.
Yeah, I would have been about 13. It was around year 7 when I started getting into it, and like the first things were like mascara. Black eyeliner was very popular.
Yes, it was.
Powder, foundation, concealer, and like coloured lip gloss, not just like a clear lip gloss. So that was around when it started for me. When I started going out, like when I turned 18, I was, going to bars and clubs and stuff with my friends. That's when I was getting into like buying more, like fancy eyeshadow palettes and like
so my fancy eyeshadow palettes were like the Revlon quads.
Yeah, well, don't worry, they were mine too. That's mine too. They were like, they were the fancier ones. Yeah. At the drugstore, not fucking cheap. I can tell you that much. At Priceline, it's never been cheap. And wearing things like, blush and doing your eyebrows and stuff like.
So I didn't get into eyebrows.
I didn't do my fucking eyebrows in high school.
I look back and I'm like, no, I started doing my eyebrows probably 10 years ago.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit later.
Yeah.
I started doing eyebrows after I got into like blogging.
Yeah.
So eyebrows, I look back and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot. Do your eyebrows. But no, after doing trying to cover, I was also into the eyeliner and the mascara. I don't think I got into lips pretty early on. I think it was definitely when I was more about 18 that I got into eyeshadows and lipstick. Like I would go out and I'd wear a red lipstick, and I would, wear my sort of like khaki green or, gold eyeshadow, feeling fancy. Still, like, I remember the time, this is quite funny. This is probably about 10 years ago now. I remember the time that a friend of mine did a consult. She was working for a brand, and she was like, can I do your makeup just as like a consult kind of thing? And I was like, yeah, cool. And she put eyeshadow into my crease, and I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What? Because I would just put the eyeshadow on the lid.
Yeah.
I was just like, I feel like my eyeshadow was up to my eyebrow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It's just that I wasn't used to putting eyeshadow in the crease.
Yeah.
This was the time where you just use one colour of shimmer all over the lid.
Yeah.
So that's how I sort of operated for the longest time. I did get into winged liner at the end of high school. People often say, like, when they see that in a video, if I do a wing line, they're like, you do it so quick. Like, I've literally been doing it for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
So you do get used to it.
Yeah,
and that was also, once again, because I felt really self-conscious when I was a teenager, and probably still these days. But I had quite, not very, but I felt like I had quite downturned and hooded eyes. So I found that I would always, in the mirror, before I'd have a shower, I would sort of do a wing on one side and then a wing on another side and see which one I thought looked better and made me feel better about myself. Yeah. And I would also, this is the time where I used to look at magazines and you'd look at hairstyle or like makeup inspirations. And that was around the time the sort of like the doe eye look was big.
Yeah.
Probably when I was about 17 or something. And so I would be like, how do I practice this?
Yeah.
And I used to just practice it, take it off, practice it, take it off, jump in the shower, do it again the next day.
Yeah.
And then you just, throughout the rest of the week or the month, you try to replicate it.
Yeah.
And then you end up, so people want tips and tricks and fast ways to do it. It's just a lot of
Practice.
A lot of practice.
So much practice. Yeah.
Yeah, and what you see on one person, sometimes you can't replicate on yourself, so you have to adjust it. So,
correct. All eye shapes are different, and you actually need different technique for all eye shapes. So the trick is finding out what works for you by practicing and trying stuff out, and then like perfecting your technique. Essentially.
Yeah, which takes a lot of time. Luckily, around that time, I want to say that we didn't have much social media. Our phones didn't have cameras.
No.
So we could do it without much repercussion.
Yeah.
we could have really, really fucking hideous makeup days at school.
And it was fine.
No
one remembers them.
No one remembers them, and everyone looked shit.
Exactly.
So we were sort of blessed in that regard.
Yeah, we were really lucky.
Yeah, I think we grew up at a good time.
We did. We really did. We grew up essentially we got the last window.
Yeah.
And then everyone who came after us was
doomed to be suffocated by social media.
Correct.
Because we remember the time where there was before and after social media.
Yeah.
And also the good thing is that we grew up with enough technology that we're not potatoes when it comes to technology.
Yeah.
But we also aren't so reliant on social media. So I think we grew up at a really good time.
Yeah, we're lucky.
And we don't have to.
We're the end of an era.
I know.
Wow, look at that.
We're going to be those people that are like, back in my day, we didn't have Twitter. We didn't say stupid things. We said it in
Back
person.
Back in my day, I used to fucking meet people face to face.
And insult them. And they would never remember it 10 years later. Yeah,
good times.
Good times. So
can't wait. I'm going to be a crotchety old bitch.
I'll be right there next to you in my rocking chair.
Oh, God. So when did your not large amount of spending, but when did you start buying, like your peak makeup purchasing start?
Look, I reckon, so I went to uni twice. So straight out of high school, I went to uni for 4 years, and then I took a year off and I was working full time. And then I went back to uni to do another degree. In that time where I was working full time, I found myself having a lot more disposable income than I never had. So I grew up not very well off. So for me, it was luxury, like it was quite a luxury to buy makeup. And so whenever they come from that perspective or they say that in the comments, like I can't afford that, I totally feel you. Like I was there, I lived it for a very long time. But when I was working full time, all of a sudden I realized that I sort of had money to spend and I didn't really know what to do with it. So that was around the time where I was going out most. That was around the time where I was, buying more clothes, buying more makeup. You'd go into MAC for, the first time and buy a thing or whatever it happened to be. That was also around the time that I moved out of home. What ended up happening was I moved out of home and then I went back to uni and then I had even less money than I had before. So I still had that sort of urge to want to try new things and experiment with makeup, but I just didn't have the funds to do it. So what I ended up doing was I would find myself always researching online. So this was before Urban Decay and all these other brands came to Australia. I think Too Faced was probably just in Australia. And I used to...
Oh, Too Faced, you used to be able to buy it at Myer or David Jones, and then they pulled out for a few years.
Yeah.
And they come back. Yeah.
So, I used to pretty much do a lot of research because I wanted to... when you want to buy something but you can't afford it, so you just want to kind of look things up. And so I used to do a lot of research about makeup and I'd come across these really cool things that you just could not buy in store. I remember when Lime Crime first came on the scene, you're like, oh my God, an orange lipstick? That's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I would spend like a day on my weekends scouring all the shops and stuff for an orange lipstick and they just didn't exist.
Yeah.
So I remember I used to do a lot of research.
Man, they were depressing days.
They were. But
they were not
do you know what
fun.
Was not depressing? The Australian dollar was stronger than the US dollar.
Oh, mate, I know.
That was a good time. So I used to do a lot of research and that got me into the sort of beauty community. And I used to read a lot of reviews because not having much money, if I'm going to spend $20 on a product, I want it to be a good product. And then I found myself, because I would half the time buy a dud and be disappointed with my purchase, I ended up starting a blog. So I started a blog, I think it was in about early 2011 or late 2010. And I started a blog because I thought I will add my reviews to the pool of reviews because I couldn't find a decent review on this product, but I want to tell people that it was not worth the money.
Yeah.
So that's how I started getting into the beauty community, was sort of trying to find good deals, trying to find good products that were worth my money, and warning people of, shit products and also raving about good products. And that's how I got into reviewing. And that's sort of, as time went on, just buying more and more.
Yeah. So I am quite similar to you. I did I studied makeup in 2012, and I did have a blog before that, but it was, it was just like, doing little reviews here and there. But I always sort of I didn't get too deep into the beauty community while I was blogging. It wasn't until I started YouTube that I sort of fell deeper into that rabbit hole. And that led to where I am today. But I would say 2015, 16 and 17 were my biggest purchasing years.
Yeah.
This was when I was like buying all the cool shit because we could get it here.
Yeah.
We could have it shipped from overseas and our dollar was strong, so it didn't cost a lot.
But also websites were opening up to international shipping.
They were, yes. And
prior to that, websites, like a lot of brands didn't have websites.
No.
Like stores, and a lot of them wouldn't even ship to Australia anyway.
Yeah.
So I think there was a time where it was probably the early 2010s, maybe 2013, 14, where most things you could start accessing.
Yeah. And prior to that, you just couldn't get it. But yeah, I think also around that time, brands were bringing out so much cool shit.
Yeah.
So much cool fucking shit. And it was just exciting to buy it all and try it all, and it was so much fun. Then you start to realise this is a lot.
Yeah. Look, I started feeling like that a couple of years ago. I think because of because I had to wait until I was working for me to be able to justify buying buying decent makeup or regular makeup that was not just an eyeliner here and a powder there. I think for me, where I realised my purchasing habits were getting a little bit out of hand was when I did transition to from having a blog to having a YouTube channel. And I actually started that because I was doing like unboxings of like subscription boxes and whatnot that I was putting into my blog content. So I actually started YouTube to add a different element to my blog. But then they ended up going in different directions. But when I started reviewing makeup, and I felt the pressure that I think a lot of smaller creators feel to keep buying new things just to create content. So around the time that I started working or working more, I would prioritize buying a new item every other week just so I could create content on it. And that happened for maybe a year or two. And then I looked back and I was like, what have I done? What have I done? Yeah. And that's sort of the reality hit that I was just buying stuff to review it. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get caught up in that. And I see YouTubers that are starting out like today or like have been around for about a year or something. And they just buy. And I'm like, they're going to look back and be like, what have I done?
Yeah. What
have I done?
Yeah.
So I think for me, the biggest catalyst was having a YouTube channel and feeling the pressure to keep creating content on new release stuff.
Yeah. So if we look back like 2 years ago, a year ago, and then today at our collections and our purchasing habits, how would you say it's changed over that time?
I think I just have been buying a lot less.
Yeah.
I think I've been just a lot more aware of what I will be using.
Yeah.
Because I think learning the hard way, which is you spend a lot of money on these products and they sit in a cupboard, and then you have that guilt of, I've got drawers full of makeup and I can't even use it. I think that sort of weighs on you after a while, and you end up not losing excitement for makeup. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but you look at a product and you're like, how much use am I going to get out of this? Yeah. And so I think over time, like this year, I haven't bought too much at all. Last year, I think I was fairly good. Year before...
It was the year we did our first low buy.
That's true. Yeah, so I think the last few years I've been a lot better, but it did take almost the harsh reality of you could have lots of money in your bank account, but instead you have a lot of makeup going off in your cupboard.
Yeah.
For me, but I think there's a balance though, because I feel like without buying all that and trying all that, I wouldn't know what I know today.
Correct.
And I think for our job, like if we hadn't tried a lot of brands, like if we'd never tried something from Urban Decay, you'd be like, what the fuck? Why are you talking about makeup? So I feel like we almost needed to do that as research, but at the same time, it's very expensive research. It's very wasteful research.
Yeah.
And, but I think also when it comes to trying, especially colors these days, it's so popular. It's so much easier buying a nude palette and then deciding how much you're going to use it, but you actually have to experiment with color to realize what colors suit you and what you will reach for on a daily basis. So, you know, you do end up having graveyards of colorful lipsticks and colorful blushes and colorful, you know, eyeliners and colorful eyeshadows, and you have to sort of try that yourself to come to the realization of what works for me and what will I continue buying more of and what will I steer clear of. And that's just, again, experience.
Yeah, I agree. You're never going to know what... If you have a bit of an issue with buying makeup where you buy a lot of it, you're actually never going to stop that spending until you've sort of done the damage.
Yeah.
You have to do the damage.
You almost need to hit
work it out.
Bottom.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. And I know that like we all have that sort of realization eventually.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to go through the spending and then you go, oh, okay. Yeah, this is a fucking waste of money and I can't possibly use it all. Do you think like that's probably the biggest thing that caused the change for you? Just the realization of like...
Yeah, I think it would be. And also, like, even though I am not a minimalist in any way, shape or form, I do get overwhelmed by a lot of stuff. I'm the kind of person that, like, if my laundry is everywhere... there'll get a time where I'm just like, I feel suffocated. Yeah. And there was a time where I was walking into my study and I'll just be like, this causes me fucking stress.
Yeah, I don't even want to be in here.
Yeah, I don't want to be in here. It makes me uncomfortable. And makeup shouldn't, or something that you really enjoy shouldn't give you those feelings. Yeah. Which is where I sort of started focusing more on, I remember when the year we did the low buy, I sort of took it and the good thing was that it was also at a time where Beauty News was taking off as a channel. So I was no longer fixated on, I need to create more content for my channel. I need to grow my channel, because you don't need to grow anything, but if you're putting in a lot of work into something, you really want to see it do well. And so prior to that, I was fixated on, I need to do 3 videos of my channel and I need to do this. And if I review the latest eyeshadow palette within 3 days of it being launched, you know, people are going to watch it and it's going to be great for my channel. And I was really fixated on that.
I hated that pressure.
That was the fucking
worst.
It was the
I'm so glad I stopped chasing that.
Yeah, it was the shittest time. So I went from that to feeling that because Beauty News was doing its own thing without me needing to buy a whole bunch of crap just to review, I sort of was getting the satisfaction of seeing a channel grow. So I then pulled back the content on my channel, less about the latest reviews and more about content that I just wanted to create with the makeup I already had. Yeah. So I sort of tried to create series and video ideas on, you know, using what I currently had. And I just had a lot more enjoyment out of that. So it worked at a really good time, because I think if Beauty News wasn't there and it wasn't a channel that was growing, I would probably still be chasing the views on my channel.
Yeah, and buying the fucking products.
Yeah. Whereas now I don't give a fuck if people watch my content.
Do you think Beauty News had an effect on, like, your purchasing?
Yes.
Yeah, so do I.
Look, I think
a massive one.
Yeah, I think there was a two-phase effect though. I think firstly when you're talking about new releases for the first time, especially probably in the first 6 months or something of having the channel, you just want everything.
Buy.
Yeah, you're like, that's exciting, I want to buy it, and you end up, we used to catch up and just buy shit. And then like be like, what the fuck have we done? Why do we buy all this makeup?
Yeah, why do we buy 4 eyeshadow palettes?
Yeah. Do we need these 3 highlighters in our cart? So yeah, I think at the start it triggered spending.
Yeah.
And then I think what happened is, as you sort of see the same things come out week in, week out, you miss out on buying that palette, but then around the corner there is something.
There's another one. They re-release it.
Yeah. And so that repetitiveness really made me realize that I don't need to buy. So yeah, it sort of peaked and then like totally dropped off.
Gosh, I'm falling asleep just thinking about it.
Yeah, you're falling asleep thinking about a lot of things.
Yes. But it's true though. Like you watch or you look at all of the releases and it's like consuming them.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
It's like I can imagine exactly what eye looks at can create.
Yeah.
I can imagine how that's going to look on the lips.
Yeah. Or you can go, oh, that looks so similar to the thing they brought out last year that I stupidly bought and I haven't used for 12 months.
I've got about 20 lipsticks that look like that and I've never used them.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Yeah, so you do. Like, I think and I think that's what we've heard feedback from as well with some of our viewers is people that come across beauty news are like, oh my God, this is so enabling. I really want everything. And then people start realizing, oh, I don't actually feel like I need to buy that because I saw something very similar last week.
Exactly.
And the
or
week
I've
before. got
something very similar in my collection. I'm going to kill this blowfly.
This fly is just doing laps.
I know. And it's gigantic. I reckon if it hit us in the right spot on the side of the head, it'd knock us out. How do we view our collections now?
I would still say overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not at a level that I'm comfortable with. But I think, look, I almost got it there where I could put everything away. And that's sort of like what I'm okay with. As long as it all fits into the drawer system that I've got set up.
Yeah, you're happy.
We're all good. But I think because what I'm currently trying to do is move my makeup room into, which is my office as well. I'm trying to also incorporate baby room into there, that I'm finding reducing the space stressful.
Yeah.
So for me, it's still at a stress level, but it's not as bad as it used to be.
Yeah. Yeah, mine, look, you can attest to this. You saw I had basically my whole makeup collection and my filming set up in my bedroom. And
you can't do that.
It was just, you couldn't breathe in there. It was so bad. And I ended up converting my garage into a filming space. And suddenly I had all this beautiful space and beautiful drawers and organization to put my makeup into. And doing that really allowed me to see my collection. I discovered products that I forgot I had, things I didn't even know that I fucking purchased, things I'd never used. And I was really able to see the forest for the trees once it was all organized. And that, again, made me go, oh, I've got a lot. So I've been working on making it smaller.
Yeah.
But also, like, I've done big purges in the past, and I know they don't work for me because I tend to have the regret, or I'll then go out and buy stuff. So for me, I'm going through the process. I'm doing what I know works for me.
So let's talk about the process that you're doing to minimize it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to be like a mindful purchaser. So the next question is about like low buy, mindful purchasing, our opinions and how we practice it.
Yeah.
So I've done a low buy and it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not really into it. I find that when I'm like, you cannot buy more than X amount, or you can only buy, or you can't buy anything. I can do that for a little while and then I'm like,
fuck yous.
Yeah, fuck this. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
It's my money. I fucking worked hard for it. And if I want to buy a fucking highlighter or a lipstick or a new foundation, I'm going to motherfucking do it.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work for me. But what I have found works really well for me is buying the things that excite me.
Yeah.
Like if there's something released, I have like twofold. If something pops up in beauty news and it like lights this little flame inside me, I know that I want it straight away. And then there are other things where I'm like, that's really beautiful and I can see that being a super functional product and, it comes from a brand that I know is good. That sort of goes on the wish list and then I'll like buy it eventually. And also I make videos about what I buy. And now I'm recapping my last year's videos, which is proving to be very interesting because I still bought a lot of shit last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm sort of similar in the sense that I don't think low buys or no buys for me work. And it's a psychological reason. And what happens is that I'm the kind of person, and I'm sure people do this in all different ways, but I'm the kind of person that if I'm having a particularly like shitty day or if I just feel like I want to like feel special, I'm like, I want to buy that new fucking lipstick.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do. I want to buy it. And in the scheme of things, like, what's the harm? I'm spending $30 on a lipstick. And I'm not going out and taking fucking drugs. Like, it makes me feel
everyone
good.
has their thing. Like, some people like bags or shoes or they fucking buy a new wardrobe every like goddamn season.
Go out to like really fancy dinners and they spend like $200 on a meal. Like,
exactly. Or they buy really expensive bottles of alcohol because it makes them feel bougie. Like, we buy makeup.
Yeah. So I think denying that.
Some people gamble.
That's true. It's true. So
we buy makeup.
Yeah. So I think denying my outlet to do that.
Yeah. It's not healthy.
It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I just found that strictly being like you can't buy anything doesn't work. So what I tend to do is I'm really big on project panning. I'm trying to use what I currently have. And what's really helped me with project panning or through doing project panning over the past like 4 years is that I know how long things last.
Yeah.
I know that if I buy a foundation, I use it every day, it's going to last me about 3 months. So for me, I can really factor in, do I need this? How long will it take for me to use it if I, love it or don't love it or whatever it happens to be? Like, how many of these do I need in my collection, realistically? So I don't think I've bought a new blush in years and years and years because I learnt that panning a blush takes like over a year.
It literally takes a lifetime.
And just knowing that, I'm like, I don't actually want to add any more blushes to my collection. What I've already got is far too much as it is. But knowing that, like, for example, a foundation, mascara, powders I can use within a couple of months, I am more confident going, okay, if I buy this, I can use it.
Yeah.
And so I think just knowing your habits, how much you use, what you use, how long it takes you to use it up, has really shaped how I buy things.
Yeah.
And I think that has just made me more mindful. But again, like we said, we're talking about makeup day in, day out and researching makeup literally every single day, 7 days a week. You
get sick of it.
You get analysis paralysis.
Yeah,
so like
you get
there's so
over it.
much that's just like
Yeah.
There's very few things that I come across and I'm like, wow, that's really amazing. And generally I'll even like watch something or look at something or discuss it in beauty news and I'm like, yeah, that's all right. And I'll see it in store and I'm like, wow, that's actually something that I would use on a daily basis. I'm going to treat myself today because I want to.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I buy things I don't even expect I'm going to buy.
Yeah.
But it's more about being aware of how much am I actually going to get use out of this.
Yeah.
And that's how I sort of purchase these days.
But what are the triggers for that like make you actually buy a product?
I think there's probably 2 triggers.
Yeah.
One is if it's something that I don't think I've got. So if there's a particular something like a eyeshadow shade or a blush not blush, I haven't bought blush in years, but like
maybe a highlighter formula,
or
a new lip
formula or something that I'm like, ooh, I really, like, historically I love that brand's blah, and they've just brought out this new color story that the quality versus or combined with the colors, I don't have that.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for it. Like, it's going to be something that I feel like I'm going to use a lot of, something that I potentially don't already have in my collection, or something that makes me feel good.
Yeah, I'm much the same. Like, for example, the Hourglass Confession lipsticks, I'm obsessed with them. And whenever they release them, I'm like, I have to own it. Like, I have to own it. I'm also a little bit of a magpie where I see something sparkly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, I kind of want that, like the JD Glow multi-chrome liners and like sparkly liners and stuff like that. I'm like, how do I resist them? But mostly, like, anything that is sort of, I look for things that are interesting, that, like, you haven't really heard of before. Like, one that came to mind that I don't mind, it's not everyone's favorite and it's not amazing, but the Synchro Skin from Shiseido, that foundation, where they were like, it's got a formula that refreshes itself so it doesn't crease and stuff like that. I was super interested to buy that. And, you know, I got it and I tried it. Should have reviewed it. Could have reviewed it. Probably never will review it, but that's the sort of stuff that, like, interests me. I like to try new things. And, you know, a lot of people ask us, you know, what's a makeup item that you could never live without, or like, what's something you repurchase over and over and over again? And I'm like, not much.
Yeah.
I'm more inclined, like, if I finish a powder, even if I love that powder, I'm more inclined to go and buy a new powder that I've never tried before, because I love trying new products.
Yeah, I've got that bug as well. And I think that comes from having the sort of review background and wanting to have knowledge on a lot of new release things, that I really do value trying new things. And we had a lot of questions that we didn't answer in the Q&A. It was like, if all your makeup disappeared tomorrow, and, you know, what would you repurchase? Or if you could only save 3 things, what would it be? If everything wiped out, like, what would you buy? Or how many, like, repeats do you have of things? And there are some products in my collection that I will consistently repurchase. Like, I love the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer.
Fresh and Flawless powder.
Yeah,
that's
there's a few things that I just sort of will repeat. Like, if I see it on sale at a drugstore and, you know, I'm nearly out of it, I'll buy a new one, because I know I can consistently rely on it.
Yeah.
But if it came down to, you know, I've used up my fancy whatever foundation, do I repurchase it? No, I'm always on to something new.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
Like, there are some foundations that I buy backups of, but for the most part, I'm always thinking about, like,
what's the next thing?
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for a new foundation. I love trying new foundations.
Yeah, and even then, I would probably, if I was to buy a backup, I would probably still use new things in between.
So would I.
And then I'm like, oh, those 5 that I've used still isn't as good as that other one.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy another one of those next. But yeah, the only sort of backups that I buy consistently are generally skincare ones. I always buy Shiramira cleansing oil. Sometimes I've got a few backups of those, because I've been using that for about 8 years or something every single day to remove my makeup. I also buy backups of, like, Bioderm micellar water, because I use that in the morning to cleanse my skin. So there is only a couple of really functional things that I will have backups of. But when it comes to makeup, like, if I lost this red lipstick tomorrow, would I replace it? No, I'd buy another red one so I can try a different formula. I'm always looking for what is coming out next, what's interesting, what's better than what I've already tried. So I'm definitely one of those. I'm seeking
me too.
the newest thing and what's better than what I've already got. So it's only really when I've tried a bunch of stuff and I go, well, that concealer was actually way better.
Yeah.
I'll go back to it.
Yeah.
And that's generally when something will stay in my collection for a long time, because I know it's reliable. But everything else, I'm like, if my collection disappeared tomorrow,
I wouldn't cry about it. I know where to start. I would cry about it because
I'd be upset
the money.
at the money I spent that's been wasted.
Yeah.
But if someone said, I'm going to snap my fingers and turn your collection into money and
Yeah.
put it back in your bank account,
That I would
I'd
agree.
be like, let's do it.
Do
and
it.
now I'm going shopping for a
Yeah.
full face.
Yeah, me too. I would happily do
Yeah,
that.
I would happily do
There
that.
are some things that I would be like, all right, well, I will be sad that you're gone, but we did have some time together, so I appreciate that. But see ya, give me that money.
Yeah, I think also with and there, I know some people have really collectors
Yeah.
mindset. So I know, like, I have a friend who used to do YouTube, and she would never buy a new sort of range of something because she'd have to buy everything if she liked it.
That's crazy.
And I understand that there are people that are like that. There's just collectors out there.
To be fair, I've been like that.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I think when I started and I treasured my makeup collection a lot more than I do now, I used to try to complete collections of things.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas now
The stupid Too Faced palettes, the Urban Decay palettes, stuff like that. Anastasia Beverly Hills palette until they brought out the latest Amazing one and they lost me.
Yeah, too big. Yeah, it's
You
not
broke
part of the
the
collection
cycle.
anymore.
Yeah.
So, there are times where I've fallen for that, but I look back and I'm like, I don't actually value having that collection. So for me, I'm not going to cry a river over it. I would be upset if I lost some of my makeup, but I would see it more as an opportunity to try something new. So that's sort of where I'm at with makeup. I still love it and I still want to wear it and I still want to put it on my face every day. But does it have to be the sentimental thing that, no, it doesn't have to be. It's functional.
It doesn't rule your life. Like
No, it's functional these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if something works really well, and even if my collection went and I'm like, oh, fuck, I love those lip stains and I miss them, I'll buy them. But I wouldn't cry a river over it.
No, it's just makeup. What about panning?
Yes.
So how do you do it? Why do you do it?
Yeah.
And do you have any tips for panning?
Yeah, so for people that aren't aware, we are big project panners. Not big as in like we don't have multiple different project pans on the go.
We just have one big project pan on the go.
And you're doing a eyeshadow
one this year.
Yeah, so some people have channels that are just dedicated to different project pans.
Yeah.
Whereas we have one project pan that we're doing all year long. So project panning is pretty much targeting certain products to try to use them up or to hit pan on them. A lot of people find that such a really confusing thing to do, because a lot of people, if you really love a product, you're like, I don't want to hit pan on it. I'm trying to like make it last as long as possible. And don't worry, we have those products in our collection as well.
Yeah.
And again, like back when I could not afford much makeup at all, the idea of hitting pan or using up something was quite upsetting. Yeah. So I totally understand that is a weird concept for a lot of people. But if you do have an abundance of makeup, and you'll also find that over time your makeup's starting to get old. Now, makeup does have expiry dates on them, so you'll see a little date in a little jar, like a little 12 months or 24 months, whatever. So technically makeup does expire. Some people ask me, like, do I use old makeup? And the answer is yes. If I was a makeup artist, I wouldn't use old makeup on clients, but on my face, I'm fine with it. If it doesn't cause me any issues, I will continue to use it. If it hasn't changed color, texture, scent, whatever.
Application, the way it applies.
Texture, so if it doesn't change, then I generally see that it's fine to use. But there are times where you might pull out something like a old lip gloss and you're like, this smells
Stinks.
funny. And that's when you're like, look, chuck it. But if you are the type of person that's finding that they've got a big collection that's a little bit out of hand or a lot of bit out of hand, or it's an aging collection, it feels really good to know that you can start using up those products. So these sort of projects, you target a certain amount of products in our project pan that we do, which is the hashtag Team Project Pan 2020. We do a full face. So you take one item of each step of your routine and you target that to use it up. And you'll be surprised at how many products you can actually use up in a year. I think last year I used up like 60 or 70 items.
Yeah.
It's a lot of items.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. You can actually use up a lot. So I really enjoyed doing that because I find that I get a lot of use out of my products, and all of a sudden I'll have like a drawer of foundations and face powders, and it's really nice to actually see that dwindle down to a manageable collection of products that you really like. So with tips on project panning, if you want to do it, firstly, I think you got to start pretty small because it can be overwhelming forcing yourself to use the same thing every day. I find it quite refreshing.
I love it. For
love it
me,
too.
like a full face is the easiest way to do it because I've got a full face of products that I can put on my face, and you don't have to do it every day.
No.
Like if you go to work 5 days a week and there's 4 weeks in a month, and that's 20 days where you're going out, and if you wear makeup to work, that's 20 applications from a product. You can burn through a foundation in 2 to 3 months doing that. You can, if you have just like a compact powder of like face powder, you can probably hit pan on that in a month and a half, 2 months.
Yeah.
Like if you're using a lip gloss and you're taking it to work with you and you're reapplying it 3 or 4 times a day, you can burn through it in a month.
Yeah.
Like, I think the hard thing about project panning is people get into it after watching other people doing it and think, oh, I should do that because I have a lot of makeup.
Yeah.
And then they try it and they're like still buying makeup. They're wanting to use new makeup. They're wanting to play with this, play with that, and they're not making progress on their project pan. And they're like, it doesn't work for me. It's too hard. What am I doing? And then you get into this headspace where you're like, project panning is shit. I hate it. I think it's better to like, you know, try it for like shorter periods. You know, Kat and I do a year long because we know that works for us, but we also refresh every quarter. So anything that we're sick of, we can get rid of, we can swap stuff out, whatever we want to do. If you like want to try a full face, maybe pull out a full face products and use them for a month or 2 months and then see how you go. If you're like, you know what, I have used this fucking brow pencil every day for a month and I hate it, get rid of it.
Yeah.
Or if you're like, I actually like using the same foundation doesn't work for me all month long because my skin changes with my hormones or something, then maybe panning foundation isn't for you. Maybe you need to have 2 in there to pan. Like it's a matter of like adapting the concept of using what you have to what works for you. It's almost like, look at your makeup collection like your refrigerator. Yeah. Do you just let all of the food go bad in there? Or do you sometimes like Franken meal something just to use shit up because you don't want to waste it?
Yeah. And I think what you were getting at the start as well is really important. If you're the type of person that still wants to use heaps of new makeup and buy new makeup, you're probably not at a stage where you're ready for a project pan. So your makeup journey, whereas our makeup journey, we're saying sort of like started pretty slow, built up, and then things like online shopping and discovering the beauty community really triggered our spending. And now we're at a stage where we're sort of fatigued by it all. We look at our collections and it stresses us out. It doesn't cause us joy. It causes us anxiety. So we're at a stage where we get more joy out of using a product than we do buying a new product.
Correct.
So if you're not at that stage, you're not going to enjoy the process as much as other people will. And you will look at people that are ready, like they're at the stage where they're like, I'm ready to use up my stuff before I buy new stuff. And you might look at that and go, that looks so easy. They're making such great progress.
It's not easy.
But it's because they're mentally ready for it.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and even then, it's not easy.
No.
Like, project panning is like, it's a challenge.
Yeah.
And it's like, the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But it's always a challenge. And when you start, you're going to struggle. And that's normal.
See, I would say I started when I was working full time, and I would use my project pan stuff every day of the week, like weekday. And then on the weekends, I would play with other makeup. It was sort of like, okay, get your shit done. And the good thing is, if you've got a routine that you know how long it takes to apply, you know it down to a T, you know how the concealer and the foundation and the powder work together, and you can actually streamline your morning makeup routine, which I found really helpful. So that's how I got into sort of using the same products. And then on the weekends, I'd be like, now you can use the glitter and the fancy shit and do it, and the new foundation, and enjoy yourself. That was like my little treat. So I really saw it as being like function and then like play. So that's how I sort of got into the routine of it. But I think it's important, if you're starting, to look at what you're happy to use on a daily basis. For me, I can use the same foundation, concealer, powder, bronzer, blush, highlighter, brows, mascara every single day. It does not bother me. The things that I struggle with panning, eyeshadows and lip products, because that's what I like to change up. That's what I find in my routine gives me most joy, alternating. So I don't put much pressure on myself panning lip products and eyeshadows. I will put them in my project pan just because. But if I don't use up an eyeshadow in a year, I don't care, because I probably used up 6 foundations, because I know I can consistently use the same one time and time again. So it's about like just knowing your routine. Some people can use the same lip gloss every single day without batting an eyelid, but they can't use the same blush.
Yeah.
And that's totally cool. You got to work with your habits.
Yeah.
But to actually analyze and learn your habits, you sort of have to force yourself to
force
analyze
yourself
it.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Project panning isn't something that you're like you don't have any, it's not your instinct.
Yeah.
Like, it's not built into you. You have to actually learn about who you are.
Yeah.
To effectively project pan.
Yeah.
So,
but I also see project panning as being the equivalent of going from a job that is sort of casual dress to going to a job that has a uniform. Some people like that because they can wake up and they know exactly what to wear. Some people hate that. So, it is just depending on how you sort of view it as well.
Yeah.
Whereas I think another big tip is you can do this as a challenge, and I sometimes do this as a challenge, but I try not to do it too much. Don't project pan things that you hate.
Yeah. Sometimes I love to do it.
Sometimes I love to do it as well, as a challenge, but that is one of the biggest misconceptions about project panning.
Don't do it when you're just starting out.
People believe that you are project panning things to get them out of your collection because you hate them.
No.
If you hate them,
throw
them out or pass them on to someone that will like them. Project pan things that, maybe the shade is not going to work for you in winter. Maybe your skin is getting a little bit more drier and you want to use this matte foundation while you're a bit more oily. Pan something, you've got a foundation that's been sitting around for a year and a half and you know it's coming to its use by date. Those are the things that you focus on panning. Things that you actually enjoy wearing that do work, but they're not your like favorite. Or they're, I just see it as being like, if you wanted to declutter or streamline your collection, what makeup does work for you but you don't really love, pan that.
Yeah.
It works, but you don't love it.
Yeah. You wouldn't repurchase it.
But you wouldn't throw it out.
Yeah.
So pan that stuff, keep the best of the best.
Yeah.
And the stuff that's absolutely trash and doesn't work for you,
throw it out.
Yeah. Throw it out. Because people often see it as being, I've got to suffer through using up a whole concealer that like lifts my foundation and looks like crap. No, you don't.
Cakey on my under eyes.
No, you don't. I need to pan a whole brow pomade that's the wrong colour.
No,
you don't.
No.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's just going to make your life a misery.
Speaking of throwing shit away, this is the last topic we're going to cover. Decluttering. Mm-hmm. All right. How do we do it? What makes us declutter a product?
Yep.
How often do we do it?
Yep.
And what do we do with the stuff? That is a big burning question. We get it all the time.
Look, I think decluttering, you got to do it at your pace. I do think it is cathartic sometimes if you have this, like, especially when you start to want to purge some of the excess stuff. It's quite cathartic to sit down with your whole collection and just do a big declutter, declutter everything. Sit down on the floor, pull out all your lip products, put them all on the floor, and then do a big like swatch fest and decide what you want to keep and what you want to get rid of. So doing a big purge is a really good way to start. Just be aware that if you're too gung-ho, you might have some regret.
Yeah.
And then it might lead you to purchasing more products. So I would say, be a bit cautious. Don't be too gung-ho. But I also feel like what I like to personally do is declutter as I go. I find that to be just a lot more organic. So if I try something and I'm like, that lipstick, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
I'll put it on and I'll be like,
no.
And I will
put it in the bin.
So that's how I tend to do it.
Yeah. My decluttering has evolved over the years. Once upon a time, I used to take all of my collection out of its drawers and I'd put it into categories and then I would declutter by category. I've also decluttered directly out of the drawers. And I found like decluttering out of the drawers is fun because you get to see the whole collection. But I found if I was putting things back into the drawer that I knew I wanted to declutter, that was bad. Because I'd open that drawer and I'd see it and I'd just be like,
yeah, this is not decluttered.
I hate that thing. So I've started something new where whenever I use something and I decide, no, I'm not keeping this, I have a dedicated drawer that it goes in there. And when the drawer is full, I film a declutter. And that I found works for me.
Yeah, and I think that's a better way to do it. If I wanted to film a video, I'd sometimes have a little like box and I'd just put things in there.
Yeah.
But I actually found that hindered me from decluttering.
Right.
Because I felt like I needed to account for why I'm getting rid of everything.
Yeah.
And I sort of felt like it's none of your business.
Yeah. See, I don't even care so much anymore. I'm like, I'm just getting rid of it.
Yeah. Whereas I'm just more flippant where I'm like, I went through my drawer, like my lipstick drawers the other day because I was trying to just organize things. And I'm just like, look, if I haven't used you in a year and I've got no emotional attachment to you and I've got no I don't actually foresee myself using this lipstick in the next year.
Yeah, I'm getting rid of it. Yeah.
And I just feel like, sometimes it's hard because creating declutter content, like it's generally very popular content.
Yeah.
But it can also have a lot of backlash where it's like, you're so wasteful, you're so this, you're so that.
Whereas, can you send me that makeup?
Oh, God. Yeah. Do you know how many emails you get after that? Of people being like, I saw your video, can I have all those lipsticks?
No,
and you're like, fucking hell. So, so I just found that for me, I had to I almost felt like if I was decluttering something for a video, I almost felt like I had to justify it.
Yeah.
Whereas I just prefer now to go, you're going in the bin.
Yeah, that's fair.
You're going in the bin. And I'm not creating a declutter because none of your business.
You're going in the bin.
This is my rubbish. You're going in the bin.
Yeah.
So I find that maybe even once a week, there'll be something that will go in a bin.
Yeah.
Like an eyeliner that I'm like, you're not creamy anymore.
Yeah, there's something that goes into my drawer once a week.
Yeah. So I just find it more cathartic just in the bin.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So when it comes to the items, anything old goes in the bin.
Yes.
Is there anything else that you do with stuff that's not as old?
If makeup's sort of heavily used, it's in my collection, it's getting old.
Yeah.
If I declutter it, unless it's something that's fairly new, I will chuck it out because I know it's already old. I know it's already got bacteria all over it.
If it's a year and a half old and half used,
I know it's
I'm not giving that to anyone.
No,
it's grubby.
Yeah, what I might do is give things like foundations and stuff to my mum.
Yeah.
And I'll pass them on to people if it's something that's very, very lightly used or swatched.
If it's not something that you're sticking your fingers in or putting on your face, So
if it's a pump thing or an eyeshadow palette or something that is lightly used, I will put it in a container and I will like a box and I will make my friends
and family
go
box.
through it.
Yeah. I've got one of them too.
Yeah, so it's more of it's a lightly used, fairly fresh sort of box of makeup. And I will say, friends, family, take what you want. And then what we also do that a lot of people don't realise is that when we get PR in, that we know we won't use. So for example, we might get a whole Colourpop collection of something and we don't actually generally swatch it on camera or swatch it in a photo because we end up donating it.
Yeah.
So I'm now mindful when something comes into my house, I think, am I going to use this?
Yeah. Or will Hailey use it?
Yeah, or will Hailey use it?
Or vice versa.
Yeah, and if the answer is no, we actually make an effort not to touch it. we will take a photo of it or something like that, but we don't actually touch the product. So we donate it to a women's shelter. So I find that by doing that, I have less that's going into my collection.
Yeah.
So whatever comes out of my collection is generally old, funky, and it goes in the bin. But I try to filter, like if I've been trying, like if I've been sent a collection of lipsticks or something, and I swatch them for an Instagram photo or something, but then I look at it and go, I'm not going to use those 5 shades.
Yeah.
I will put those aside for friends. But if there's a completely a collection that comes out and I'm like, I'm actually not going to use these foundations at all, they go to donations.
Yeah.
So I'm just a lot better at organizing where these things are going to fit in my life before they get old and before they get funky and before they get used.
Before they even come into your collection.
Yes. So what goes into my collection are the things that I actually want to use.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah.
I try not to use anything unless I plan on like using it and keeping it.
Yeah.
Won't do like lip swatches or anything with products that I'm like, I just no.
Yeah, like I did a Nabla
review. Give it to
review.
Someone who can use it.
Yeah, like I did a Nabla review, and even though I was trying a bunch of the lipsticks, there was one shade that I was like, I'm not going to use that.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to use it. It's a pink. I don't like it.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to open it.
And a lot of ladies do like pink.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of
someone
ladies
else can use it.
who can't fucking access stuff like this. Let's donate it and hopefully someone will love it.
Yeah. Or, you know, if my mum's like, love that shade, I'll be like, it is yours.
Have
and
it.
it is fresh and it is new.
Take
Rather
it.
than
Enjoy.
here's my funky thing and you got to pick the like hairs off
The
it.
fluff.
Like, you
Cat
know,
fluff.
Yeah, cat fluff, or the lid came off in my handbag and good
Yeah.
luck, you know. So, yeah, decluttering for me, in the true sense of decluttering, I chuck it out. But I try to prevent things from getting into my collection if I'm not going to
Use
them.
it, yeah.
Oh, can I quickly say as well, though, that some people would wonder, based on that, why we accept PR. And the answer is most of it is unsolicited PR. So if a brand comes to us and says, do you want to try X, Y, and Z? We'll either say yes or no, but often you will just get PR that gets sent to you, and you open it up and you're like, I have no idea what this is. I didn't expect it to arrive. Will I use it, yes or no?
Yeah.
So, you know, if we could prevent brands from sending us things that we're not going to use, we'd be more than happy to do that, but that's not the way the world works.
It's not the way PR works, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately.
You're sort of all in or all out.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
All right, guys. So that's it for us today. We hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to leave your comments about your purchasing habits and how they've changed down in the comment section. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.